Greetings, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. Shout out to all of my early risers in the cocoon. This is Body Culinary, and in these wee hours of the early day, I'm coming in to communicate about makeup and the possibility it has to trigger depression, right? And I don't like to claim different states, on myself. However, this is something perhaps to contemplate. So, if you're interested in one woman's perspective and a contemplation, just a consideration, I invite you to stay tuned to the end of this video. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body Culinary, personal trainer, professional chef with a focus on whole living foods, mother, gardener. On this channel, I love to share motivation to start, begin, reactivate a personal movement practice, to start and cultivate a garden, even if it's 2 plants, even if your space is small. And I love to encourage peaceful consumption, or at least harm possible to your own body temple and to other folks. You will decide what that ratio and what that looks like. For me, what that has looked like is focusing on whole, fresh living, unprocessed fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, and legumes because they are nutrient dense, because they don't leave a lot of waste on your waste. And that is what I like to use as my primary health care and wellness care, in addition to my movement practice. There things, lifestyle practices that I have access to, that what I can be responsible for. So it is early and I'm awakened in an early hour. So I'm sure I look a little sleepy, but that's okay. So those are the types of things I love to share on this channel. I do have a guide that's available to you if you're interested, that can be found on my website, Body Culinary. The first guide is a lot of questions people ask me in this industry for many years. It is a guide I've put together of all the questions I think that people could ask me that could perhaps shorten your learning curve if you're on a path to consuming the highest quality fuel that is available to you, that is nutrient dense, that is enzyme rich, that is full of life and vitality, and that is the least harm possible. It's bigger than labels. That guide is Whole Living Foods in the Hood, with menus to fit your budget, pictures. You can see exactly what I've been doing to consume whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods as a lifestyle for many years. So if you don't have access to me, that guide is available to you to answer a lot of your questions with visuals. There is also, for folks that have asked me how I cleared up my acne, what products I was using, there really weren't any products from the health food store or over the counter drugs. It was my movement practice and the foods, the whole fresh living foods that I'm eating primarily inside. And I'm moving so that all those nutrients come to the surface of my skin. That's it. That simple. And I threw away my shower caddy. So that guide is also can be found as a resource on body-culinary.com. So if folks are interested in coaching, personal training, coaching really with your movement practice and your food to get it down to a lifestyle and to address those things that may be the things you're ruminating about. That could be injuries, not understanding what you're doing, not perhaps understanding how to be effective, how much is too much, too little. I've got issues with my knees, all these different things that come up as our excuses. Those are things that we cover in efficient fitness and common sense nutrition. So those are the types of classes that I offer, in addition to food prep, raw vegan goddess cakes. And it's really about having enjoyment and whole, fresh living foods. It's bigger than a label. So all of those resources, the goddess cakes, healthy eating for men, those webinars and resources are available on Body-Culinary. You can get on the mailing list if you would like to perhaps travel out for a personalized retreat, to have one catered to you privately online with myself. That can be coordinated. Yeah, so those things are available to you. Feel free to like, comment respectfully. I don't have the only perspective in the comment section. Now, that being said, today in the wee hours, I wanted to just communicate about whether or not makeup can cause or trigger something within you, trigger the D word, depression. So, as you can see in this picture here, smaller here, I had a lot of acne. It was much more intense than that. It was very, very uncomfortable to say the least. And I have posted a picture of what that looks like with me without makeup on. Now, I'm not here to bash makeup or how people want to express, whether that's culturally or artistically. I have folks that I really, really value and who really look, rock their expression with wigs and so on. So, none of these are right or wrong. They're just perspectives and experiences. You have your own and will find your own sweet spot. So, that being said, I really explore the duality that both can be true, that you can express yourself artistically or however you want to express, especially as a woman, as a creative person with makeup and putting costumes on. That can be a lot of fun. However, the makeup and depression, right? From time to time, I like to play in mascara and maybe a little eyeliner. Maybe I'll put some cocoa butter on my lips, but I don't really need it. I notice I feel very hydrated on whole fresh living foods. So anyway, recently I was going somewhere and I decided to put some mascara on. I have pretty long, eyelashes, one of the features I enjoy about my human suit. And I put some waterproof mascara on because I'm in the garden and I'm sweating quite often. I have a lot of activity built into my lifestyle. So when I remove it, being I don't use a whole bunch of products, I have coconut oil, cold pressed coconut oil, and I have cold pressed olive oil on deck all the time. So I took one of the round cotton squares, and one time I thought I could never touch oil to my face because I had acne so intensely. So I used the cotton pad to, dampen it with a little bit of water, and then to put the massage with olive oil and to wipe it off. And it's not the first time I noticed one of my eyelashes on the side, on the side of the sink. You know, um, I play with eyelash curlers. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I always look for the minimum that I can do. Not because I don't enjoy glam, it's because I really feel, to be quite honest, I find it for the most part inconvenient or it doesn't resonate with the things I prioritize, which is movement and play in my garden because it is deeply therapeutic. Um, just anything causing harm to myself or maybe causing me to lose eyelashes or to lose my eyebrows. When I used to tweeze and I used to thread my eyebrows, I'm lucky, that they come back. All of them haven't come back. You know, um, I just question sometimes when I look at that when I look at my eyelash on the side of the sink, it gets me to thinking, periodically like, wow, I'm losing my eyelashes just to put something on for a look. Now I do enjoy the look. I have to say though, what I enjoy most, like if I think like one of my mirrors recently broke and I noticed I feel much more relaxed. Now I would use that when I'm doing yoga by myself, perhaps sometimes to check my form. I've also been in studios over the years where there are no mirrors and I notice I'm much more relaxed when I don't look at the mirror. I've worked in very high-end gyms and in these very fancy gyms, when folks take off all of their corporate gear, you can quite often see everybody flexing and posing and bodybuilders in the mirror, constantly looking at themselves. I'm not making this bad or wrong, but as somebody that has worked in personal training, that has done fitness competitions for years, I've seen a lot of dysmorphia. And if you stay in the industry, if you stay in it long enough, if you compete a lot, I will say honestly, I think you are affected by it. I like my natural body. I feel good and comfortable in my natural skin. Yeah, I would say after years in the fitness industry, and if you go along the path of doing fitness competitions, you may go in looking one way, right? They may be without muscle. As you put on more muscle, you can potentially lose or not see your breast tissue because women, we can hold, and men can hold, a lot of fatty tissue or adipose tissue inside of the breast area. So some women may become insecure. Now you're ripped up and have lots of muscle. Now you feel insecure because your breasts aren't as big. So I this is just one woman's perspective. I found, especially as an Afro woman, um, I didn't see any natural looking women in the fitness competitions. We came out looking like something else. I even saw this gorgeous, stunning African girl put on a wig. And I mean, I was thinking, like, it just looked so unnatural. She was looked like a stunning goddess. I don't know if any of you ever seen the Miss Universe, that was the black girl with the yellow bathing suit that like just turned it out. Just like words could not express the royalty, the regalness, and then to have to don something. So the peer pressure and the climate and the standard is something else that we're aspiring to. And just the feeling as I'm looking at my body part or my eyelash on the sink, I like to be very careful with my body tempo. I want it to serve me. And so I've shared before, make, I've chosen health and confidence over beauty. And I do get it. Uh, because many people will be more than likely more attracted to makeup on the thumbnails, men and women. We, as a species, we're very stimulated visually. I think a lot of times this gets us in trouble. We're stimulated mostly visually, and this is wired into the human psyche, right? If we're choosing a potential mate, or who looks protective, or who looks like they can bear healthy children, we are wired to love beautiful, attractive, colorful things. And I'm not here to demonize that or make it wrong. However, we will also poor we'll make errors in judgment because we are only going by visual. Because let's be honest, in this day and age, many of us are masking our lack of health and vitality, right? Not the essence of who we are, but we're masking the absence and the lack of health and vitality with covering up. Now, if we think of the animal species, predators will quite often pick off the elephants or the little cubs or the little creatures that are old or that are sick because they're moving slow. So a lot of this is wired into our subconscious, into survival. Studies show that women, when we wear makeup, we get more sales, or that we're chosen more if we're at a dinner or if we're at a networking event, because we're going to things that we deem attractive. It is part of it is psychological. At the same time, I was watching some research on depression, and then there was a really, really good piece. Perhaps I'll see if I can find it, and I think I'll definitely share it with folks in the Cocoon, those folks that are in Cocoon coaching, and I think I may even share it in the community section. There was some great research that confirmed, I'm not the PhD, but I do trust my onboard and divine intelligence. And I felt intuitively, we talk about we don't trust our intuition, but intuitively, we are medicating. We're medicating issues that ideally would be taken care of in a natural community setting if we had healthy interactions with, firstly, our parents, and if we weren't in such fight or flight all the time in survival mode. We put the makeup on, we put the suits on quite often to mask the fact that we are in survival mode when it comes to earning money, and especially with social media, right? We feel like you have to be looking on all the time. You have to be performative all the time. You have to put a smile on your face all the time, even if you just got some bad news, if somebody just died, if you're actually physically ill. You may be physically ill and you still have to perform. And then we medicate that. That's not healthy. And especially as someone as an Afro person, as a human being, it's not exclusive to Afro people, but as an Afro person, different things we've had to endure, right? The legacy of stress and CPSD that we have not been allowed to acknowledge, that we have fought to even feel validated, and we fought to ask a system, an impersonal autopilot system to validate our trauma, which has been I'm not waiting on that to happen. So here we are, and the impersonal system, the machine doesn't stop rolling. And many of us have broken down and are broken down under the stress. So this piece of research, I am going to share it in the community section. It was really excellent, and I invite you to use the internet and not let the internet use you, because this is monetized. This is monetized. We don't have to be a victim. Awareness, investing in educating yourself. I cannot emphasize this enough. We want results, but we also want the instant. We're pandered to the instant gratification of the makeup. It's the intention and the context of the makeup. Because if we're honest, it's gone for many of us beyond just artistic expression, and it's a shield that we put on to survive in order to make money, out here. However, we don't turn it off. Quite often doesn't get turned off, and we're so scared of the judgment if you have acne. We're scared of the judgment for people that may deem you are less valuable because you are fluffy, or you are of a weight that is not, model-esque. And, shout out to, all of those individuals celebrating their bodies, not a denial of ill health, but celebrating yourself right now without beating up on yourself. This is really, really important, because there are crafted messages that are tapping into the main vein of your psyche and your primal fears. So I think there's a duality. I think you can plan and be expressive with makeup. Yet, what is the bound? What is the threshold? What is the tipping point? What's the tipping point? What's the tipping point at which the makeup becomes more of a cover up, and it becomes low esteem, and we're addicted? We have to put it on, or we're going to be judged. We won't make money. Everybody be like, why are they coming into the office looking broke down productions? The constant, endless judgments if you wear your own face. See, this is what does not resonate with me. I get the glam and all of that. But at the basis of me allowing and giving myself permission to walk and to be free, to allow my skin to breathe. So I can't let my skin breathe because people are going to judge me. That's an issue. I can't. I'm not going to be chosen if I show my true face, if I don't compete with the rest of the women. If people know my age, if they know what I've been through, I won't be chosen. I will be condemned. There's, it's there's a lot of quote unquote mental illness or dis-ease or imbalance, I would like to call it. Be very, very careful of the labels that you take on that are triggering those 5 to 7 basic human fears. It's constantly being triggered, choking you. It causes mental illness. And I really feel passionate in exploring this in my practice of fitness, coaching, vigorous choice movement, I like to call it, and weight release, or a healthy weight. Your body is intelligent. It knows how to achieve a healthy weight. It knows how to achieve a healthy weight. So if it is unhealthy, if your arteries are clogged, which can also, by the way, is a physiological response to stress. And the stress is not necessarily somebody attacking you, but mentally, if we hook up electrodes to your brain, and one of the features of functioning processes of the brain, mental conditioning, mental processing, if you're visualizing, you close your eyes from these screens and all the pictures that you have downloaded into your brain computer, we hook it up and we have you run your race, as they have done this experiment with many athletes. Your brain is firing and muscles are twitching as if you're actually running the race. So you're having these experiences mentally. and crafting messages and signaling. So, for example, perhaps as I come on here with no makeup, with my skin, perhaps you will be signaled that I am depressed, or I am not wealthy, or um, there's something wrong if I don't look glammed out to the max. It's signaling. It's signaling, crafting message, communicating messages to your psyche. And quite often we're picking up on a cue that this person is safe. This person is secure. This person, because they give a beautiful presentation. And today many of us are made up, dressed up to the nine, squished into all kinds of outfits, and we're looking fabulous, and we're always on to the nine, and our teeth are showing, and depressed and on numerous medications. There are many therapists that are on medications, not making it wrong, but if we just look at the trend, many of us don't have mental resilience or bounce back. And some of it is just the pace that we're moving at as a animal. It's too much workload. At one point, certain slaves in Brazil, or in certain areas of the South, um, they didn't last long. They had a very short lifespan because the workload that they were given was impossible. Actually, in New York, there is a slave site, a memorial dedicated around in the Wall Street area that my sister and I visited. And as we were reading about all of these children that were slaves that had a short lifespan, children that were esclavos, that were slaves. They had a very short lifespan because of the amount of work that they were made to do. I mean, even as I continue to learn, that's not my only focus, but as I continue to learn, right, and learning for not for just being top heavy with information, but I seek understanding and comprehension. You cannot change something that you're not aware of. So as I just seek comprehension, when I just think of how these children, they're it's like you burned out a new Vitamix. You know how Vitamixes are really the strongest blender? They probably $600-700. But to burn out a Vitamix blender, you must have been putting some spoons and some bricks and some shoes inside of that Vitamix in order to burn out that engine. So the fact that so much pressure, so much labor was put onto these children, they expired very quickly. Today, although we may not be doing as much physical labor, the labor and the pressure mentally for many of us is too much. I don't know about you, I love nice things. Too much stuff to take care of, I find it's like it's almost like a type of like a suffocation, more clothes to manage, every 10 seconds more stuff to put on, and I can't sweat and I can't have dust and you got to touch it up. I can feel pimples coming from overindulging. I don't care if it's raw nuts, too much stuff. We're eating too much, not because we're hungry. We're eating quite often. It's not because we're hungry physiologically. Well, we may be hungry for nutrients if you're eating a whole bunch of calories and substances masquerading as food, but it's not nutrient dense. So are we crazy, or is it cognitive dissonance? We're putting more stuff on and we're shopping for more. Right now it's at a fever. We're on lockdown and it's at a fever pace. I need more makeup. At 15, 16, 17, 20 tons of Fenty and this and perfumes, and our dressers and our cabinets are exploding. At one point, we had this term called product junkies, where folks had so much styling gel, so much conditioning for this carpet, conditioning shampoos, so much grease, so much black styling gel plastered onto your head. I remember when I was using the black styling gel back in the days for my twist outs. And if it would rain, sometimes that stuff would be, a little dark on your collar, giving me like flashbacks of Jerry Curl juice. It's like it's too much. You got all these products underneath the sink in the bathroom, busting out of the medicine cabinet. The health food. I had so much tinctures and vitamin supplements. Then I got so much clothes. It's too much. It's overload, frazzled, and in desperation, we still need more and more. It's a vicious cycle. because it's coming through the back door, it's tapping into the psyche. We can't even seem to relax. The makeup is frantic, then we're and pandered to, and we are triggered to be hypersexualized with no, and I don't care what camp your expression. I never hear the conversation or the you don't hear the tone of the significance of what you're exposing yourself to with other people emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and you really don't hear the concern for taking a risk with the next generation when we really are not parenting with intention. All of this stuff happening in milliseconds from fears being triggered in the subconscious. So as I'm looking at that body part, my eyelashes laying down. It's not the first time I see it. The eyelashes laying, and we do shed eyelashes, by the way. That's a communication. The body sheds nails, it sheds waste, it sheds poop. However, if we're holding on to waste, right, eating lots and lots of meals, but nothing is coming out, that's a communication. All of those like knuckles of whiteheads and fat and waste coming out through this large and eliminative organ, that's a communication. It's a communication. The fact that we can't sit still. I really hope you folks take advantage, perhaps while you're cutting your vegetables or stretching. Take it. I'm going to share that research about depression and its effect on the younger generation, on this current generation, the older generation, where it has been normalized for us to be medicated, and will defend a lot of the abnormalities and the dysfunction that has become normalized. You can also see in social media and at the climate, if you just look at patterns, I'm a person that watches patterns, the amount of young people that are desiring, almost like busting at the seams to, like my little bunny rabbit. It doesn't like to be grabbed. It will start like running at top speed. People are running at top speed, even though some folks could complain about this current generation. They're saying, you guys, or the older generation, you don't look that fulfilled to me. Your relationships don't look happy. I don't want that. I don't want that. And then even as a demonstration here, even coming into the chat, you have trolls in the chat that put links on your page to link it to different kinds of on pay, explicit stuff. So it's all kinds of vampires looking to extract energy. It's so sad. It's really unfortunate that today, which is why I stopped coming on lives at these odd hours, that you have people scrolling the internet for energy as voyeurs for energy to try to get a rise out of people or to get off from looking at your image. And it's a lot of lonely people. And it's also impersonal. There are lots of bots that scroll this internet. So all this to say, am I telling you, I'm not telling grown folks what to do, not to enjoy your glam. But what I'm saying to you, I invite you to get quiet and to sit on the throne of your own existence and quiet, bare and naked, and to enjoy your time here in your human suit, to take back with sovereignty and intention of sovereignty, which I think today mentally is going to require a bit of courage to be able to sit in comfort in your own skin. You can always go and play and glam, but are you able to sit naked with yourself in terms of being comfortable in your own skin and keep your body parts safe for longevity, right? That inclination to impress strangers on the internet that are looking for energy or looking for something to look at. I invite you to just take note of how you are feeling in this climate of strangers. And as I look at Xanax Lenentra and Hikadoi Mishi, there may be likely even be bots that troll the internet. It's just confirmation of why I don't prefer to come on the internet so much. It's so much random energy I don't think we're paying attention to because we are being, something is being catered to, is being stimulated right? The need for validation from strangers, right? Or lonely strangers in a room somewhere that are looking to get off through the screens. And a lot of this is causing and triggering a lot of fear and depression. And so, therapeutic lifestyle practices, your garden, your movement practice, what you feed yourself. Moving forward, I'm just going to move forward saying this, that research shows that the more that and the longer we're on these screens, it is triggering, it is causing depression. It is causing depression. So if we had to turn off the screens, what would we do? It's showing that this generation is unable also to turn off the screens. It has become integrated into lifestyle practices. So people that are already longing, humans long for, it's natural, just like my bunny rabbit. They get depressed when they don't have connection. However, it's not a real depression connection. And it's also not a vetted. I speak about a vetting process. It's not a vetted connection. You can't see who these different strangers are with no face. There's just all kinds of, predatory or creepy, or just all kinds of, folks that are feeling empty and lonely that are scouring the internet. You can't see who they are, and this whole platform is monetized and giving them access to you. I know energetically, it's like sitting in a space of strangers doesn't always feel comfortable. So I invite you to prioritize your self care practices, right? Your lifestyle practices that keep you healthy. And a lot of times, notice if you're able to turn the screens off. I know my bunny and the plants can encourage you to go into quiet, and the plants can nourish you in a way that you're not getting on the internet from the quick instant verification or validation or pseudo validation of strangers and ghosts and trolls on the internet looking to give you something, and maybe perhaps the parents didn't give us. And if you didn't get it, some of us turn to religion or to different stories to try to get that, hit in that main vein of validation. Perhaps you're going to have to give that validation to yourself. So I'm inviting you all to contemplate that. I always encourage you to relaxation practices and setting a relaxation practice. There's some relaxation videos on this channel. I invite you to replay them and replay this as you prepare your vegetables, as you're stretching on your yoga mat. Perhaps put your mini speaker out in your garden. Right? I invite you to use the internet proactively and to upgrade yourself. Like anything else, to use for something positive. Use the internet and not let the internet use you. Invite you all to keep and to create a great day on purpose. And feel free to like, comment respectively, and subscribe. And just be mindful of those bots. There is a way to block them in your comment section. Some of them are impersonal bots, and they're trolls, looking to siphon energy. And I will see you in the cocoon, which, by the way, is not on the internet, where it could be private and you can screen and have a vetting process for who you're interacting with. All right, y'all, create a great day on purpose.